If you knew you were enough, what would your life look like? What would love look like? This is the Enough Factor broadcast, where we're redefining what makes you enough in life and in love. Now here's your host, S2-E21. Hello and welcome to the Enough Factor podcast. My name is S2-E21 and it is indeed a privilege to bring you content that not only uplifts, but calls into question anything that does not align with this undeniable fact. You are enough. In fact, you are more than enough. And here to help reinforce that message is my special guest, Danielle Faust. Before I introduce her, however, if this is your first time tuning in, thank you. You could be listening to so many other podcasts out there, but you decided to stop by and listen to me. What makes our podcast different is it's built on three critical factors. I call them the three critical factors of enoughness. They are your voice, your value, and your vision. By amplifying your voice, your value, and your vision, I believe that you'll see yourself more clearly. You'll see who you are, whose you are, and why you are, thereby experiencing love and life in a bigger, bolder, better way. If that resonates with you, then you've come to the right place. Now, let me tell you about a wonderful woman that I was destined to meet and who is joining me today. Spiritual life and manifestation coach, intuitive healer, and metaphysical practitioner, Danielle Faust. Danielle Faust helps women redesign their lifestyles to lead happier, healthier lives that are on purpose. And she uses metaphysical tools to guide them toward their inner healing to allow for faster manifesting of their desires. But that wasn't always the case. She was a party girl, spiraling downward at a quick pace when she discovered personal development and spirituality. She took what she learned and got her life on the right track, but still wanted more. She wanted more joy, more peace, more abundance, more freedom. Yet she struggled with depression and anxiety. When The Secret, y'all all remember The Secret, came out, it resonated. She took a deep dive into the laws of attraction, quantum physics, spiritual texts, and created a framework that helped her transform her life further. She manifested her husband. She manifested 2 healthy children. She manifested a thriving business and even manifested FaceTime and an interview with her shero and mine, by the way, Oprah. Today, she's here to help you manifest your next right step towards your purpose and your destiny. So join me in giving a hearty enough warrior welcome to the host of Manifested Sis, Danielle Faust. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you, Suzette. I love the way you said that. You made me feel so fancy. Thank you.
Oh, you are fancy. We were talking about, before we even came on, I was like, Danielle, you're about to become my shero. Because I'm telling you what, I thought one time she was going to ride that stationary bike while talking to me. And I'm like, oh, hold on now. Hold on. But I tell you what, it's great to put a face with a voice and that wonderful feeling that I had when I met you, Danielle. So I am so grateful that you're here to talk to our listeners today.
I'm grateful to be here. Thank you. And I was saying to you before, you look like your voice. You're very soothing and beautiful and peaceful. There's like a grace and an elegance about you and your voice. I love that you match.
Oh my God. You're the first person to tell me I match. So this is like special. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for our convo.
I am too, because we're going to talk all things manifesting and law of attraction. I've always been fascinated with it. And I'll tell you, when I watched The Secret, I came away with a completely different feeling. Maybe it was because of the atmosphere I was in, but I was thinking, I can't get a handle on just focusing on something like closing your eyes and saying it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And Shazam, it's supposed to happen. And of course, with my background being in church, we had a lot of the name it, claim it. And sadly, some people named and claimed it, but you didn't see any evidence of it. So I was so done with that. I was so over that. So I think The Secret kind of went over my head. And I probably, if I listen to it now, maybe I would see something different. But can you clarify what the law of attraction is and what it is not?
Sure. Well, as for The Secret, just to back up a bit, The Secret is a great beginning. And it really kind of was surface level. So it had a lot of people out there thinking, all right, let me think about this sports car and then it'll pop up in my driveway. But since you are from the church, you know faith without works is
Faith without
works is this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an underlayment that's crucial, that's missing in the teachings of The Secret. But the law of attraction is basically that it's almost like the law of magnetism, that like things in like vibrations are attracted to each other. So if you are vibrating or resonating an energy of peace, happiness, joy, you are going to bring things that are of peace, happiness, and joy that align with the things that you say you desire. But if you are moping, ruminating on what someone said to you at work, always complaining about your back hurting or whatever, guess what you're going to attract? More of that. So to break it down to the most simple of ways of saying it, it's like attracts like. The thing with The Secret is that because it only gave you the surface, it didn't let you know that there's other layers beneath, like believing that it's going to come, not just saying, here comes my sports car, but really believing it, loving yourself enough to do what it takes to be in resonance with it so that it does come into your experience. So there's lots of layers.
That is so good. I can remember when I was single, so many of us single ladies, and of course, the closer we got to 30, we thought, oh God, we got to hurry up and get this thing done or we're going to be old maids, right? Whole new world now, a whole new world. But back then, there were so many people that were naming and claiming that husband, that, oh, my Mr. Right. And we were naming and claiming it, and people were standing in lines, putting money down on it, so the preacher could lay them hands on them and say, yeah, in 6 months, baby, you're going to meet him. And I'm sorry to say, sadly, maybe it happened for some, but for the people I was around, not so much, You can't just dream it, and say you want it, and not be willing to do what's necessary to attract it. So can you tell us what's necessary that has to happen inside of you in order for you to attract? And also, does that mean you can attract anything, or is it only certain things that you can attract?
So I'm of the belief that when you are working to attract things, to intentionally manifest, that you want to bring things in that are for your highest good or the greatest good for all involved. But we're constantly manifesting, whether we're doing it intentionally, like writing down our list of goals and desires or not. We're always manifesting. Look around you. Everything in your room, you manifested that, maybe on default. So now you have the choice to intentionally manifest what you want going forward. And in order to do that, you'd have to work on getting your resonance, your vibrational resonance, or your energy, or your mood, whichever word resonates with you, frequency, vibes, mood, feelings, all that. You have to get that into a place where the thing that you want or the experience that you want is an of course. Oh, of course I'm going to have that sports car next week. Of course, you have to kind of be on the same level as it. You can't have it up on a pedestal like, oh, my dream man, I can't wait till he comes and saves me, my prince. You can't be that. You have to be like, well, I'm a queen. And of course my king is out there. I can't see him right now, but here he comes, I'm sure. You have to be equal to it. And in order to get on that level of feeling or energy or vibes where you're equal to what it is that you desire, there's some underwork that has to be done. Some belief work has to be done, some clearing out of old ideas or beliefs. Say you want to hit a certain number in your business, you'd have to clear out some old beliefs about, that's not for me, that's not for my family. We work hard and we're humble. You have to work through those types of things and change beliefs in order to resonate in a place where you can be making $250,000 or whatever it is that you want per year. So there's clearing out of beliefs and of raising of your vibration, mood, vibes, energy, spirit, whatever it is that you want to call it, to resonate with what you want.
So now how do you raise it? Is it that you have to listen to positive people? How do you raise that vibration? How do you take yourself from, having a small, just we're hardworking and we work hard for the money. Money is hard to come by, to more of an abundance mindset. How do you raise that vibration? How do you do that?
So this is an energetic universe, right? Physics told us this. So there's lots of ways to do it. And if we're going to go the more scientific and science-based way of things instead of more of the woo-woo way, we have to move that energy around, right? We can't have things cluttering our space and then expect more to come in. We're already at capacity. So moving your energy, moving your body, taking a walk, writing out things like affirmations. I like to now call affirmations reminders because we're reprogramming our brain with these reminders of the new beliefs that we want to have or the new space we want to operate from. And this isn't woo-woo. I know affirmations sound very woo-woo to some people, but it's literally reprogramming your brain. Every time you write it and read it, you are making new pathways in your brain. And the more times you repeat it, the more times you feel into it as you repeat it, you are literally changing the shape of your brain and changing what you believe on a core level. This is some good stuff, y'all. So,
you really can remap, retrain your brain. You don't have to be stuck in that.
No, they had lots of some scientists at different research universities actually had people's brains hooked up to I forget what the EKG, I forget what the machine is, but they mapped their brain, MRI, that's it, MRI machine. And they tracked the electrical pulses when people were repeating things, and they made whole new pathways in their brains and really changed the shape and what highlighted, what lit up, what was electrified in their brains when they were thinking certain things, and the patterns changed. Now, I don't have an MRI, but I sure do have a pen and paper. So I write down what I want. I write down my reminders of who I am, who I really am, who I aspire to be, but I write it as if it is right now. So I am earning my desired amount. Money is easy for me to come by. I live in my dream home with my husband. I have this many healthy children, whatever it is that you want. Write it in many different ways. Write what you want to be true and make it feel easeful. If anything I'm saying right now feels like work, this is not the tactic for you. Maybe the tactic for you is moving your body, stretching, doing yoga as you just think about what you want. Whatever it is, it has to resonate with you. Like, yes, I'm going to try that, Danny. It really has to be like, that's the thing for me. And you have to feel very free and easeful and happy to do it. It cannot feel like a chore, because then what are you bringing back to you? More chore-ish type feelings.
So Danny, how do you reconcile the difference between coveting what somebody else has, like I'll have what she's having, versus manifesting that comes from a deeper place? Am I saying it right? A deeper place within you?
So I think that when we look external from ourselves and we see something that we want, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I think it's just one way to notice what we want. If I don't know that someone can be a millionaire, then I don't know that I can yet want that. But I see this woman, oh, what? Oprah, she's doing what? Oh, I want to do that too. So we can take it from being coveting to being inspired by, and allow that energy of inspiration to take us to defining what it is we want. Because then we have to think and really be serious with ourselves. Like, okay, do I want that red sports car? Or do I want what I think it means? I think it means success, achievement, high income, whatever it is that it means to you. So then you look into your life and what would that bring to me? How would I feel successful? Oh, you know what would really make me feel successful? If I got my master's degree. And maybe you go through that. So you were inspired by this woman in her fancy sports car. But when you dug into yourself and you realize what the core is, then you can apply it to your life and go forward to manifest what's truly going to bring you that. And that starts with your enoughness. You have to, this brings it right back to your enoughness, knowing like, I'm worthy of this. I see her having it. That's a little trigger for me. Why? What do I actually want about this? And then turn that into yourself and what you're going to bring in.
Like, what do you really want? Sure, this is what you're seeing, but getting down to what you really, really want, and then seeing what resonates, what lights you up when you think about it.
Absolutely. Wow. And I've noticed that a question I get a lot is, oh, I really wanted, okay, I keep going to the sports car. I don't know why. I'm not even a car person, but let's just keep going with it.
Girl, you know, I'm in my senior living, because you see all the gray haired old men with the red sports car. Shoot, maybe it's because I'm supposed to be getting me one as, maybe that's it.
Maybe. What will you be driving in a couple of weeks? Come pick me up in your Corvette, miss.
Deal.
I'm of the belief that if we are intending on manifesting something, say it's that red sports car, and we start seeing people close to us manifesting their dream car, that's only God or the universe or spirit or whoever you pray to saying, don't worry, it's coming. It's closer to you than ever because the people in your surroundings are now getting it. So instead of coveting like, oh man, you got the thing I wanted, it's yay, you're the thing I wanted. I'm going to get it too. And it should really light you up because remember, you're staying in that place of expecting and knowing. And of course it's coming. Of course it's coming. So it's just little reminders.
Well, I want to kind of backtrack a little bit. When I read your bio, there were some parts of it that I left out because I wanted you to be able to unpack it about how you manifested your husband and your children and your thriving business. But in your bio, you talk about where you were at before you manifested it. We want to make sure they have a good understanding of what the law of attraction and manifesting and all that is. So would you tell us that backstory a little bit more before you transformed your life, before you manifested those significant people and everything in your life?
I dropped out of one college after freshman year. I was drinking. I was partying. I was making choices that I'm never going to tell my daughter about. It was not, it was not who I am now. Coupled with that party life, fast-paced, wrong choices, wrong men life, I was also dealing with anxiety, depression, and it was undiagnosed for a while. It was undiagnosed until I was like 18, 19. So I was grappling with, oh no, something's wrong with me. I'm mentally ill, plus all of the bad choices that I'm doing in this party life. And then at around 21, so this is a few years period of just spiraling downward. When I was 21, I noticed all my friends from high school graduating college while I'm just stuck in place partying. So that it kind of hit my ego. I'm like, I'm smarter than these heifers. Like, how are they graduating? And I'm here with, 1 year of college under my belt. So that is what kind of pushed me towards personal development. And it made me have to look at myself because there's no one to blame but me. I am responsible for every choice I make. And I think that is like core foundation step one that we have to get to when we're going to start any type of manifesting, any type of life changes. We're not a victim. We made our choices and now we have to move forward from that understanding. Like you can now make the other choices that are in the direction that you want to go. So, that's when I dug into personal development, started learning about goals and got back into school, graduated, started my life as a young professional, and manifesting wasn't really the term I used. It was just personal development. It was goal setting. And if manifesting sounds sounds a little too out there for you, just consider it goal setting. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to use the these woo-woo terms, because the term doesn't matter. Bringing what you want into your life is what matters. So, so what I had to do was then dig. I told you I had to really get honest with myself about being responsible for everything. But then I had to do some serious belief work and healing of inner child work. I don't know if you want to go deep into that. Should we go into that kind of stuff?
Sure. Because I really think one of the things that I've observed, I'll just say, is I think for a lot of people who are go-getters, high achievers, mission-driven people, if we were to really peel back the layers of what the real motivation often is, it's us trying to compensate for something that our ego thinks is flawed. And we're like, well, okay, if I can earn this, if I can achieve this, if I can accomplish this, then maybe the jury will come back with a not guilty verdict, and I will be absolved of whatever that flaw is. But of course, we know that's chasing your tail, pretty much. So, go as deeply as you want to go into that.
Sure. So I went into therapy, which was super helpful. That's where I learned a lot about inner child work and inner child healing, and about how as adults, we are really operating with beliefs and wounds that were created when we were little children. So for example, like we mentioned earlier, we have to work hard for the money, or money doesn't grow on trees. We didn't learn that at 30, right? We observed that as children from our parents. And what all these rules that we've put on our lives, all these limitations that we put on ourselves, we did that subconsciously as children from a child's understanding. So maybe you asked your mom for help one day with tying your shoes at age 7, and she just had an argument with your dad, and she's frenzied, and she's trying to cook, and she's got a lot of things. So she snapped at you, and it was a simple moment. Hey, mommy, can I get some help? And then she snaps at you. But what you take it as, asking for help is wrong. Asking for help gets you in trouble. Then you internalize that, and you keep that rule going forward. And I'm just making up that fake scenario, but so many women, Black women especially, have that in them still. And that is a trigger, a trauma response that we now have to not ask for help, to do it all, to feel like we're unworthy of help. And if we do ask for help, then it's, a flaw of ours, or people are going to look down on us, whatever it is. So that's just one example of the many ways that we as children get these rules and beliefs that we then let harden and solidify, and we operate unconsciously by those rules as we get older. Now, our duty as adults is to now go back and heal those inner children, really work through those beliefs, determine what they are, see how they're limiting you, and then heal them so that you can manifest easily in those spaces. There's so many around money. There's so many around worthiness, enoughness. There's so many that we can dig into and heal.
Yes, relationships.
Yes, love. What does a healthy relationship look like? Impacted by what you saw from mom and dad. And it can be impacted both ways. If you see your mom and father fighting all the time, and you have 2 children in the household, one child can think, that ain't gonna mean me. No way. I'm not having that in my life. And then the other child can be like, that's what love looks like. That's what marriage looks like. And then they grow up and have 2 separate, different experiences. So in order to go back and heal those things, there's many ways. We can do it energetically. We can do it with hypnosis. We can do it with personal development, digging out. One way that I like is Byron Katie's The Work, and your listeners can look it up. There's another one called the Sedona method. They're very in your head. They're very looking at the issue and then determining why it's untrue, determining what you want to believe instead, and living from that space. And doing that then goes back to those affirmations that I was talking about, those reminders, whatever it is that you're choosing that you want to now live by, operate by, you drive it home, you write it every day, you think about it every day, you remind yourself, because it's the programming from you as a little child does not have to stay your programming as an adult.
Yeah, it sounds like what you're describing when you talk about, living it every day and that kind of, it's like you decide to move into a different residence. It's like you move into a different house. and you
Absolutely.
decide, I'm going to live in that house. I'm not going back to the old house. I know this new house is uncomfortable. I know this new house has parts and areas that are foreign to me. I got to get used to them. I got to figure out where I'm going to hang my towels, where I'm going to put my bed, how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that, what things I needed to bring over from the old house, what things just don't fit this new house at all, that I have to leave, give
Yes.
away, donate. But my commitment is I'm going to live in this house.
And
Go
it's
ahead.
important to remember that you're moving to that new residence, but you only had one U-Haul, right? So you were only able to bring a few things over. So it's very
Mm.
natural for you to go back to that old house and get some more stuff and then bring it over. So don't feel bad that you only had the one U-Haul. Don't feel bad that you're going back to that way, because you were that way for how many years? So it's natural to kind of spiral at this one level before you start spiraling upwards. So, okay, you unpacked the one bedroom, brought it over. Okay, now you got to get the guest bedroom stuff and bring it over, because your hall's not that big. So you got to move to the residence in steps. So I just want to remind your listeners, because it's not, okay, well, I did the work once and it's done. No, it's a process, and it's forever, until one day you look back and like, oh my God, I used to believe XYZ and now I don't anymore. Look at me, growth.
So now I know with you has had some issues before you gave birth to your children, and how did you mitigate that to manifest two beautiful, healthy children? Because your story is harrowing,
Yeah, it was hard.
harrowing.
I mean, I feel very grateful that my outcome was what it was. And I feel very grateful that I didn't have the long and drawn out infertility story that so many of my friends and so many of my listeners and readers have. So this is not to minimize the struggle of anyone else. This is just my one story, because it's a painful journey. But I feel just very lucky and very blessed that I feel like I energetically helped create my children, because it was after watching The Secret and then feeling like The Secret was a little bit too simple. And that's when I started really digging into the physics and the metaphysics. And so I went to the doctor after not being able to naturally get pregnant for almost a year. And I said, well, you know what, I'm almost 30. Let me just go get checked out, make sure everything's okay. My doctor sent me in to have a procedure called a hysterosalpingogram, where they put
Wow.
ink into your uterus, and it's on the screen. It's supposed to show a nice healthy uterus with the two fallopian tubes, and it's supposed to light up with the ink. Mine didn't. It showed one fallopian tube and then one just not there at all. So it was not connected. So something was wrong. There's not connected. So there was no way for the egg to come down and for me to naturally get pregnant. So the doctor said, here's what your options are. You can either have a procedure done to open up the fallopian tubes and then try, or, IVF. And I was like, well, both are expensive. Both are maybes. I'm going to see what I can do on my own while I save for IVF. So it wasn't like I was like, I'm just going to do magic and get babies. I was like, okay, let me be realistic. I'm going to save up for this procedure, but I'm going to do everything in my power to see what I can do, because I do believe in miracles. And I do believe that whatever this divine power is, I believe that motherhood was in my future due to my faith in that divine. So I was like, I'm going to do whatever I can do magically. I don't know. I was ready to do anything. But I was also very practical. Like, okay, this is how much I'm saving per paycheck to get towards IVF within, 10 months or whatever it was that I had. So on the law of attraction kind of spiritual way, I was praying, of course, praying. And what I want to be clear about is that I wasn't praying for my fallopian tubes to open or, very specific things. I was praying for happy motherhood, healthy motherhood. So it was open. With that being the goal, it could have been, I found a baby outside in the street, took it home and it's mine. Or I adopted one, or somebody said, hey, you want this baby? It was very open, but I just wanted the happy motherhood. I was focusing on that. And then I started focusing on healthy pregnancy, and, it got a little more solid. But so I was doing the prayers. I was writing affirmations. I was visualizing myself holding a healthy baby. And in that visualization, who knows where I got this child, but I just know that I was holding this healthy baby, rocking this baby in my arm, breastfeeding, different things I was visualizing to the point where I'm feeling it so viscerally and just almost to tears with how happy I am to be helping this baby live with the milk from my body. Fast forward, after a few false starts and almost pregnancies on the pregnancy test, because I bought them in bulk. I was charting, I was taking my temperature, I was doing all the things from every book that said, chart, drink orange juice, whatever they said to do, I did. Like everything for fertility. I was, fenugreek tea, everything that I could find. Any old wives' tale, I did it too. So I did all those things, and then I prayed, and I was doing a lot of visualization, a lot of meditating. And what I think the meditation did for me was take me out of an anxious space, a worried space, and got me into an I'm okay with whatever happens space. So that made me okay with if I'm adopting, if I am just going to be the fun auntie. I got to a place where I was at peace with whatever was going to come my way. And I was still saving for IVF, but still.
Yes.
But still, I was just okay with whatever came. And it was shortly after I got to that space where I'm like, you know what? Whatever happens is what's supposed to happen. Boom, pregnant. And of course, I didn't believe it because I'm like, how will this happen? Went to the doctor. The doctor was like, oh, yeah, no, sorry, that's not real. It happens sometimes. It's called a chemical pregnancy.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
It's a false positive. It's a chemical pregnancy. I'm sorry. You're probably going to get your period in a couple days, yada, yada. And I was like, no. I visualized this. No, this can't be. A couple days later, it turned out that it really was. And I thought that it was just a miracle from God. I was like, thank you. Somebody wants me to be a mother up there in heaven. Thank you. And, I had my son, healthy baby boy, and I thought that was it. And because I thought that was it, my husband and I, no protection, just having fun as we wanted to. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, my stomach is getting big. Wait a second. When was my last period? My daughter came. I don't know how, because if someone took an x-ray of my midsection, it's not supposed to happen physically. So I don't know how my egg just jumped down into my uterus or what, but magic happened, and I am grateful. I do believe they're miracle children. And I have to remind myself of that when they're annoying the hell out of me. I have to be like, okay, they're miracles. They're miracles.
They're miracle children. Now go sit down and show.
Now go to timeout.
That's right. Go to timeout. Oh, man. I love that because it says so much. It reminds me of those times in my life where it's like there's something that viscerally happens inside of you that knows what you're supposed to have. And it whispers at first. And you just kind of think, oh, it's just a dream. It's just a bad thing. Oh, it would be nice. It kind of whispers at you a little bit. But then it gets stronger. I think it gets stronger the closer you get to when you're supposed to birth it into this natural world. Because I believe that everything that we see right now happened in the invisible first. It existed in the invisible first. It just needed somebody to come through. Needed somebody to channel it, if you will, to bring it into fruition. Like Ford had a better idea. Well, he was the one that caught the whip of the idea and couldn't shake it. And I'm sure it probably started as it'd be kind of nice to do this and not have to keep hooking this horse and buggy up. It might have just kind of started out as a woo-woo kind of idea that he kind of thought, and he might have said it and everybody laughed at him. He probably was like, yeah, y'all right. This can't happen, whatever. But then it stayed with them. It at the most inopportune times, it would kind of flirt with them a little bit. It would flirt with them. And then after a while, it won't let you go. There's something inside of you that whether it's stupid, crazy, everybody thinks you just dumb as a box of rocks, you still got to do it. You got to try it. You got to seek it out. You got to research it. You got to. And that's what I learned about manifesting, because I tried that name it and claim it, and oh God, please send me a husband. Oh God, please send me a husband. Oh God, please send me a husband. I tried that and won't nothing happen. I kept right on. What they say, I kept right on manifesting granola bars, fruits, nuts, and flakes. I kept right on. It's like I could not. It's like married one fruit, nut, and flake twice. And and it was one of those things was so interesting. Even like your story where you're talking about one child, but then you got the bonus child when it's like the manifesting more. It was the same thing with me. It was like all I wanted after my second divorce was I want to know what a healthy relationship looks like. We don't have to get married. I've already done that twice. I don't have to do it a third time. I just want to know what it feels like to be loved by somebody for who I am, warts and all. And that was the only yearning in my heart. But then, not only did I get that, but it got down on one knee and proposed. So though I wasn't praying for marriage, as a matter of fact, somebody had said it to me, I would have thought they were cussing at me. Are you making fun of me, right? Because I got divorced twice. You're just being so mean. But it was just, evidently, that was what I was supposed to have. Though I didn't pray to that end, but just my manifesting, my being diligent, my not being able to get away from that desire that I ain't going out like that. I ain't going to spend my whole life on this earth and not know what it's like to really experience love. And that became my thrust. That became what I researched. I read books. I went to therapy. I talked to men. I did everything I could so that I could become the best relationship partner that I could become. And in the process
That's why
of that,
it came. That's why it came, because you ascended to that point. You made yourself so amazing that how on earth could an amazing partner not be attracted to that? Because you grew to where you needed to be to have it be. And of course, he's coming into my life. Because before you were like, oh, I just need a man. It's all the way up on this pedestal, But then look at how you grew. Even as you were saying it, even as you were telling the story, it went from, oh God, to I'm the best partner I can be. Your shoulders down, chin up, the posture changed even as you were telling the story. And that's what we have to do as women, as anyone listening to this. We have to change our posture and our energy around anything we're trying to bring in. And also what you did that was crucial is you went from it being, I want marriage, to an expanded feeling of, I want healthy love. And that's so much broader. And it could have come to you in many ways. You lucked out and it came in the form of a man.
Yeah, I really did. And it's so funny because I tell people this, and sometimes people look at me like, that sounds really good, but it's true. Because I was the queen of attracting the unavailable man. I mean, that was just my thing. And not that I did it on purpose, but that's what kept happening. It's what I kept manifesting. And so for me to meet this wonderful man, it exceeded anything that I thought I could have. I couldn't even think that far. I didn't even know people's relationships could be like this. I really didn't. I did not know that I could get a man that is one of the best men I've ever met. And that was I met him when I was 50, Danny, 50.
Don't say 50 like it's old.
I know, but 30, it was like, my God.
But I hear you.
First marriage, 29. Second marriage, 30 something. You got that little break in between where you falling back. Then after a while, you start falling forward. So you're like, okay, I'm falling, but at least I'm falling in the right direction. This man is better than the last man. Even though he's not the right man, he's still better than the last man, and just to do the work, because I started looking at areas in myself, because we want to say, oh, I'm a good woman, but I had to admit, no, you're not. Suzette, you're not a good woman. And the reason that I wasn't a good woman wasn't because I didn't work a great job. It wasn't because I didn't mean well. I didn't have, that I was the keeper in the way that we've been taught. I was all that. But what made me not a good woman was I was so full of self-doubt and not trusting and all those kinds of things that if a man entered into my space, I wasn't fun to be around because I was going to nitpick him apart. I was going to find something wrong. I was going to be, okay, he didn't call. Okay, he's cheating on me. So I wasn't a good woman. He could not, poor fella, he could not live up to it. I was not a good woman. I was constantly trying to find something wrong with him. And when I started getting that stuff out of me, like you said, clearing that stuff out of you, started dealing with my beliefs and that, oh my God, Suzette, you would not be a great person for a person to marry right now. You got too many issues. You got too many unresolved issues in your enoughness, in your self-concept, and all that. And so when I started working on that, it opened up a space for a good man to enter.
That is the work that so many people are scared to do. That is the space that people stop right before, because that requires introspection. That requires possibly seeing something in yourself that is not pretty, that you might not want to look at or take ownership of. So it's just commendable that you were able to go there, because a lot of people are operating where you were and are scared to go there. So for the people who are listening, who might kind of notice what Suzette said about herself, you might notice that in you. And if you might notice that you tend to attract unavailable men, it's because at the core, you're unavailable too, sis. You're just not ready yet. And there's stuff that needs to be healed. There's stuff that needs to be transmuted, dug out, like gotten over from. Mm-hmm. And then you can move forward in a much more expanded space and a better energy in order to have a love, a life, a career, or whatever it is that you want.
So as we kind of come down, because I could stay on this mountaintop and go forward. We go from mountaintop to mountaintop to the clouds and all that, and beat my tambourine, honey. But as we power down a little bit, I want you to tell our listeners what you want how to connect with you, and then what you want their takeaway to be from this conversation.
Sure. So you could find me. My site is okdani, okdani.com. I am on Facebook as Coach Dani Faust. I have a Facebook group called the Lifestyle Redesign Lounge, where we talk about all this kind of stuff. So feel free to join me there. And I have a free 5-day manifesting challenge that you can take. You'll see it on okdani.com. And I'm always on Instagram at @TheDaniFaust. And as for one takeaway, only one? No.
Oh, go ahead.
I think
3.
The main takeaway I want your listeners to have is, I guess, the empowerment of knowing that you are creating this. Remember to look around and remind yourself that you created all that by default. So now you can go forward and create from a place of intention. So I want you to just own that and remind yourself that you're a powerful creator. And that's from creating things in your physical world or creating just the mood that you're feeling right now. So sit up straight, put your shoulders back, take a deep breath, and create from this space going forward. Know that you are in control of what happens next in your life.
There it is. There it is. Thank you so much, Dani, for gracing us today.
Thank you.
My, this has been absolutely wonderful. Listeners, I hope I'm just in this space feeling more open, feeling more alive, because the sister was a little tired when she came on, but I feel energized just from the love that's coming from you and just the positivity, and it coming from such a rich and wealthy space. So I appreciate it. And I hope the listeners are feeling all this wonderful, gooey goodness that we're sending out to them today. And you all know how I like to leave it. You are worthy. Don't let anybody tell you differently. You are worth it. You are more than enough. Bye now. You have just listened to the Enough Factor podcast with your host, Suzette Vernon. To get notified of new episodes or to dig deeper into today's topic, become a subscriber. And while you're at it, tell us how we're doing and what topics you're interested in. We appreciate your feedback and your reviews. Until next time, remember, you are worthy, you are worth it, you are enough.